My commentaries are meant to provide counter-arguments, provide suggestions on how to improve, and entertain by any means necessary. If I come off as harsh, it's not for the sake of acting as such. I do not condone anyone watching this video to attack the subject matter, whether it be by pestering them to watch my video or just be rude in general. If anything does end up happening, which it shouldn't, I will forward my apologies and hopefully we can work something out. This disclaimer only exists because I don't need people assuming that I'm out to seek attention or to cause drama or witch hunts or whatever, because I do not. Also, one more thing before this video starts, I'm well aware that the subject matter did semi-disown their video, but note that it only says semi, as in there are points that he still possibly stands by. Not to mention that I could bring up something that he doesn't know about yet, so in the end, I do think that I will do more help than harm. I could be wrong, but it's worth a shot anyway, so enjoy the video, for real. Wait a sec, this isn't some kind of alcohol. Oh, would you look at that, it's a funny meme. Tastes a bit like pumpkin spice. I don't like pumpkin spice. Oh, this ought to be good.
About time I have another word with you.
Yeah, that's great and all, but why me? Why not get someone like, oh, I don't know, TP? The one that killed you and Kill-End in the first place? Shouldn't he be a better option?
Face it, your continuity is falling apart and you don't seem to get the idea of parallel universes yet, so someone must step in. And besides, you were closer.
But you're God. Is it really that hard to find someone?
You just said I'm God. I think that's an incentive for me to do things as I please.
I guess! So why am I here?
Because you made my job really, really annoying.
What?
Since your first appearance in the commentary community, many commentators have died left and right because they just love to have Kill-End in their videos. Some have even self-appointed themselves as interns. You can assume that I never asked for that.
Okay, cool. What does that have to do with me?
Don't play dumb. No one would have even started the trend so quickly, let alone dub Kill-End as such if you didn't coin the term.
TP was there too!
But it was still a thing you said.
Sure!
Okay, you know what? You're not making this any easier, so I feel like making you do some chores while you're here.
I'll be doing a commentary? So you are that predictable!
Oh, if you think that's to be expected, then you're gonna love this.
Uh-huh? Is that it? Some god you turned out to be? Alright, just give me the fucking material. Whoa! What is this?
Oh, just a little spell that causes you pain every time you swear, allude to anything inappropriate, you know, things that make you. Minus the screaming, of course.
Why?
Well, if I added screaming to the trigger list, then you'd be stuck in a loop, and as funny as that would be, nothing would get done.
Oh, look who's playing dumb now! I meant, why cast such a spell on me in the first place?
Oh, because if I'm going to keep you here, then we might as well do something interesting. And besides, the writers have decided that your usual personality could use a little reworking. We need an incentive to break the mold every once in a while. I mean, if commentators just use Kill-End in their videos without doing something new or interesting with it, someone must. Plus, we've got to think of the children every once in a while. If you don't follow through, then who knows what will happen to you. More importantly, you'll then need a replacement.
Oh, well, that's just great. Wait a second, I'm the writers! Please tell me you haven't thought ahead of a replacement?
Look at him, he's the cutest replacement I've ever seen. And he even talks, listen.
You mean they don't have Chipotle in Kill-End? You know, I wish I've seen weirder. The train has no brakes. Oh, you gotta be kidding me!
Oh, whoops, I guess the spell goes off whenever it hears anything that sounds like you.
That's me! Oh, goody!
Alright, here's the material. You know the conditions, now get to work.
Okay, just one more thing though. We all know you're Rabbit Luigi, right? So why bother keeping the voice changer? Because, you know, implying character differentiation?
Because voice changer or not, I'm still your god. The pitch and the reverb shift just make me sound sexier, of course. Now stop talking and start commentating. I'll come back when you're done. Now, Mr. Cuddles, say goodbye to Ty.
I love the black people. Welp. Penis. Well, would you look at that? another video where I'm covering someone's first commentary that covers someone based on a bandwagon of some sort. And I have to come out of my comfort zone a little bit and play defendant for the mysterious MrEnter. Gee, thanks, Will, for furnishing Kill Land with new clouds? Wow, those are pretty. Yeah, if I have to censor everything up until the end of the commentary portion, this won't end well.
What is up, ladies and gentlemen? It's That7thBloodyDragon speaking, and welcome to my new show, Counter Commentary. You may ask why I'm doing this. Well, first off, this is filler for my channel while I make the second episode of the Entertainment Expedition, so I can keep you all entertained. Secondly, I'm using this show to get some things about MrEnter's animated atrocities off my chest, and why he needs to change his way of thinking when it comes to reviewing, or else he should just stop reviewing altogether. You may think this is crazy.
Well, duh.
And yes, I am aware why this is dangerous, since most of his fan base defend him to the death, even on the most stupidest points he makes. But I'm not afraid. I think he's a bad reviewer, and I'm going to show you why.
Wow, you are already giving me mixed messages. So you're telling me your intent is to show everyone how bad MrEnter is? I can understand that notion paraphrasing the whole I want to see him improve, since, yeah, technically you do have to show all the flaws, but A, he doesn't imply anything about wishing improvement on the subject matter, B, he's implying that he's speaking for Enter in general, not just the video he's covering, and C, he just now said that Enter should change his ways of reviewing or he should stop reviewing. I mean, like it or not, what he's doing is actually working out pretty well for him in the grand scheme of things. So in the end, all this introduction did was made you look like a complete apple.
Alright, now that I'm feeling better from my most recent medical issue, let's see what's next on the agenda. Yep, my ears are bleeding. Time to go back to the hospital.
Good.
And stay there. You're clearly unfit and unhealthy for this, especially after your 100th atrocity. And no, I'm not going to mention his medical issue. Just because I hate him doesn't mean I have to be a heartless jerk.
Okay, so you say that you're not going to rag on any possible medical issues, but you're still going to wish that he would stay in the hospital because he jokingly said he wanted to go back? And regardless of how you want to come off, still saying that he should stay in a hospital because of a video is still not good. I would accept this as a joke, but you immediately reassuring that you won't discuss medical issues makes this really sketchy on your end. And if it was a joke, well, it's too vague for me to take it as one. I'm sorry, but
Unlike these two.
Hey, hi, I'm new boy number 72. Who are these people? Why are they jerks? Why is one supposedly black and the other a handle on a door that is turned to release a latch? Can I have an explanation? Am I going to get one? Did Master TP10 steal cookies from the cookie jar? Because if so, I'm gonna cut you, you basketball player! You look like Tiger Woods! Uh-oh.
Let me translate for those who don't speak stupid cartoon. This show is going to be desperately trying to cash in on the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, to the point of being a creatively sterile ripoff.
No, it isn't. It's a
Okay, before I even let you open your mouth, are you just gonna play media clips before you make your actual point and have them come off as really jarring and only serve as a lazy way for you to not think of your own clips? I'm aware of the media clip scare going around in the commentary community, but when they're handled in a way that only serve as speaking for the presenter, like we've seen twice, it's just a waste of space and can either be said by you or taken out indefinitely. In fact, if I may, you do realize the context of the Monty Python clip, right? His limbs are being cut away and he's just standing there and the guy's stupefied and the black man's like, nuh-uh. So, does this mean I have every right to tie the meaning of the clip back here? Is Enter actually making some sense? And you know this, but are still going to debunk this anyway? Holy Shyamalan, was it you that took the cookies?
It's supposed to be a parody of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and I believe it has enough elements to separate itself from the show as well.
So you're gonna show me why this can stand on its own, or am I just gonna let this slide by? I think we all have the answer to this, so let's continue.
Besides, how can you cash in on something if TMNT didn't have a relevant show for 3 years?
I mean, we could have something to fill in the void of anthropomorphic dinosaurs that kick butt if the turtles are MIA. If anything, you can argue that the creators wanting to produce wannabes during their Inspirus hiatuses would be an even better tactic, as their competition isn't even there.
But to be fair, it does draw more similarities to Extreme Dinosaurs. However, people said that was a TMNT ripoff as well. So I don't think it's logical throwing around that term unless you have some plentiful and solid proof.
Oh, you mean like what you've done to show that Kung Fu Dino Posse isn't a ripoff of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles? Yeah, funny how that works. Maybe solid proof would work, but that doesn't mean that Enter's claim about it being a TMNT ripoff isn't baseless because of the Funky Kong title of both shows. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, a group of animals that specialize in a specific fighting type. Kung Fu Dino Posse, a group of animals that specialize in a specific fighting type. Well, yeah, you could say that Enter should have proof, but the review only just now started, and the claim was based on the first impressions. You know, something we can get from the titles alone.
I personally think something is only a ripoff when it shows too many similarities to the show it is based on, and not trying to separate itself as its own identity.
Cool! And wouldn't you know, that's exactly what Enter's about to go into after this interjection is done.
Also, the first sentence he said felt like he was being patronizing to the audience. And I don't like it.
Oh god, he just wanted to translate his thoughts for people that didn't get the picture while calling this cartoon stupid. Oh man, how awful, call the fire department, I'm gonna faint.
Pointing out your problems doesn't make them go away.
Oh, just like you use your autism as an excuse for not getting better equipment and a better attitude for your reviews that actually make them logical and enjoyable despite getting loads of wonga through ad revenue and Patreon.
What? What does bringing up Enter's autism have anything to do with anything? Did you actually try to call hypocrisy for something that has nothing to do with anything ever? Yeah, fun news, sunshine. You just got a bachelor's and not tackling the point. But let's actually analyze what you just said. Where did he try to justify something for his autism? Now, granted, he talked about AutismSpeaks on both YouTube and DeviantArt, and even wrote another DeviantArt journal about his experiences with Asperger's syndrome. But okay, you know, it only just now hit me and call me out for this is stupid, but why am I doing the dirty work? As a commentator, you need to show the proof, the examples, the mother-loving pudding. It doesn't make a daffodil difference on whether or not I show these pieces, as I would be wasting my time doing your lack of showing anything. And plus, even if you did show proof, what's to say that Enter doesn't still stand by what he said back then? Or heck, that Enter's not content with what he has. After all, you mentioned his ad revenue and Patreon, so one can assume that it's his choice to not get the equipment you desire. But no, apparently Enter's saying that pointing out problems doesn't mean that they go away, so your best resort would be, well, you have autism! Get fun dipped, nerd!
Anyway, it's taking the mickey out of itself, and it's not a bad thing. I personally take the mickey out of myself and I have no problem with it, and people find it funny at times.
Yeah, cool. That doesn't mean Enter has to follow your belief.
Each of these characters are bland, one-note tokens. Token headstrong leader is Kane, overly confident and doesn't listen to anyone else. Token girl is Lucy, and that's her entire character, being a girl. Token big eater is Chow. Once again, that's his entire character. And finally, token jerk asshole is Jet.
As much as the characters aren't the most original out there, just because a character is a token doesn't mean it's necessarily bad. It can be used for humorous occasions and can be used to further take the mickey out of itself. Also, Kane is more than a headstrong leader. He's a leader with poor speech.
It's okay, we're not going to hurt you. You were frozen in the ice. You've probably been there for millions of years.
You gotta be kidding me.
Moving on then.
Yeah, funny story about that. Enter brought up how Ken's overconfident and doesn't listen to anyone else. You mentioning that he has poor speech doesn't really debunk anything. Not to mention, you only try to justify Ken's character and not the other three, which implies that a majority of Enter's argument is pretty valid. Either that, or this shows, once again, you can't be fudged to provide examples to save your life. Also, about the whole token characters aren't bad thing, maybe, but you have to understand that if there's not much new or interesting to mix up these archetypes, then who cares? It wouldn't be bad, but it wouldn't really be good either. This isn't even taking into account of those possible humorous occasions, not really being all that humorous to the wide majority in the end. Sure, it's subjective, but from a marketing corporate stuff standpoint, if it's not the majority that's interested, then pack it up, you peel of the banana variety. Huh?
Also, as I've learned in reviewing cartoons, apparently pterodons weren't dinosaurs.
Okay, hold on a sec. Dragon, you can sit down. Enter. Buddy, did you actually just call pteranodons pterodons? Well, guys, I'm DigitalTy, and I'm going to die. Oh no.
Sorry, Jet, you can't be in the show, you're technically not a dinosaur. But don't worry, I have a strong feeling the show will be much, much better without you.
Oh, you're going into that territory, aren't you? Firstly, it's just a theory, like evolution and the existence of God, and was most likely the creators didn't notice before the theory and evidence was published much later. Secondly, even if this was true, does it really matter? It'd be like saying that Larry and Bob from VeggieTales should be on their own show because science says they're actually fruits. And I'm sure the creators of that show didn't know that beforehand either. It's a cartoon. It doesn't always have to be 100% factually correct like it's a science essay. Finally, the way you said it raises the red flags here.
Also, as I've learned in reviewing cartoons,
He most likely goes info from just cartoons and a Wikipedia page. This shows how incompetent he is when he researches something, provided this is coming from the same guy who didn't know how oil rigs worked.
Oil rigs? That are on fire. I'm no
Okay, you were on a decent track with your interjection, but then you decide to bring up some other incident from some other review a long time ago? Why? You had already proven your point, so why bother going on another tangent that has frick all to do with the actual review? It's just padding. Or are you one of those funny heads that find any absolute reason to prove Big Bad Adolf Hitler wrong? Well, sorry, but there's a time and place for bringing up his error about oil rigs in his Cars 2 review, which is supposed to be if you're doing a commentary on his Cars 2 review, not this!
I think I made my point now. Or perhaps I haven't.
Oh my lord, yes you have. Can you please stop talking and play the actual video, you stupid
Do you think Mr. Enter's right, Larry?
Gee, I can't come up with anything lol XD to say to balance out my already random and flow-breaking tangent. Why, what do you think, random and flow-breaking media clip?
Herman.
Yeah, me too.
You probably already noticed this, but the animation is horrid. Somewhere between Pixel Pinky and My Life Me.
That's just insulting. Yes, the animation is choppy as hell, but I think you're stretching it by comparing it to Pixel Pinky and My Life Me. At least Kung Fu Dino Posse has a much better style than Pixel Pinky, and the characters don't look like anime abominations.
Hey, how about you let Enter explain his point without cutting him off like you so obviously did?
But the animation is horrid. Somewhere between Pixel Pinky and My Life Me, we have this choppy, stilted nothing, with characters that look like they just don't belong in the world created by the backgrounds. And you have to keep this in mind, Kung Fu Dino Posse, which is a stupid name, is an action show. Action shows require intricate fight scenes and fluid animation. When you don't get that fluid animation, it really looks like you're just banging two paper dolls together.
Even still, Enter said that the animation is somewhere between Pixel Pinky and My Life Me, which implies that Kung Fu Dino Posse has better animation than one of the shows he mentioned. Granted, it's bad wording on his end, but stopping him mid-sentence to say, oh, well, that's a mean thing to say, it's not like this, doesn't refute his overall point about how this animation's bad. Holy moly!
Skipping ahead, since he does make a decent point on the animation's fluidity. I hate it when I have to give this new Mr. Enter credit.
Yeah, I hate that I have to find something good about this person I don't like. Gosh.
So this episode starts at a museum with the Red One looking at a computer while an alarm is ringing.
Oh, give the show some respect for goodness sake.
Well, interject to something that's actually worth interjecting to, for goodness sake.
It's go time!
But I went this morning. Oh, the other go time.
Die, and make it painful, please.
I would say the same thing towards you, but unfortunately it's against YouTube's rules to wish death upon another user.
You realize by saying, oh, I would still wish you death, still doesn't make it okay on your end because, well, you just said you would! And you still feel compelled to bring it up anyway, so what the fuck?
So instead, I say go back to the medical bay and get your brain checked, because that was a decent joke. And let Mr. On-Agent take care of the rest.
No, you won't, because you can't come up with an original joke to save your life, and me now. Now, in any normal circumstance, I'd skip and move on, but somehow Dragon gave me more to work with. For one, no, that doesn't give you any ground to stand on because you're still bringing up personal shingles with a person. Enter's just bashing a cartoon, something incapable of producing emotion and all that human stuff. It's just a creation, not to mention that it implies you support this type of behavior towards a person when he's bashing a cartoon. In fact, you say yourself that he's disrespectful, so at the end of the day it makes you look like a hypocrite. Second, yeah, I do too, when it's not dragged out to 12 years nor when it stops the video. Thirdly, oh, you then play a heavy voice line that's really quiet, spout out a prank gone wrong meme, and then a filthy Frank clip is pacing the Holocaust to you!
Everyone else gets their mind controlled by weird bug things.
Behold, the tool that Enter uses to get his way.
No.
And then the show ends. This was the season finale and the bad guy wins, and we all lived happily ever after.
Not for some of us.
Stop talking.
We still have to put up with you,
Do not.
your fan base,
Don't make me tell Mom.
and your bad videos.
Hey, can I get a number 5? Hold the tomato. Mr. Bones, would you do me a favor and put this wild ride into maximum overdrive?
I better play along until I figure out what's going on here.
I thought that the MP4 I got of this episode was just skippy, but no, the lip syncing really is that bad. It's like they animated some of these scenes before they recorded the voice acting. English dubs of anime has better lip syncing than this show.
Now you're screwed up. Kung Fu Dino Posse is a cartoon most likely animated in South Korea, and most likely the country this cartoon was originally intended for. What you're looking at is, in fact, a dub, so of course it won't sync up all the time. It's a foreign cartoon. Even if it isn't very good, I think you just judged it way too quickly.
If his point was that it's bad, then it's bad! All you did was dance around the issue by stating where the show was likely animated by saying, oh, of course it's going to be bad, without realizing that, yeah, it could actually be bad, and you're ultimately parroting what Enter said!
What do you want to do with the Dino headquarters? We'll rent it out to a group of rowdy college students. They'll trash the place.
First of all, I don't think you're one to talk down to anyone. Second of all, the target demographic for the show has got to be younger than 7. They probably wouldn't be exposed to the cliche that you're using here.
Talking down. The irony is strong with this one. Anyway, if My Little Pony or any other good cartoon can get away with references like this, why not this one?
Because people actually care about My Little Pony.
Granted, this isn't the most original and best one, but you're treating this reference like Adam Sandler's wrote this.
No flipping comment.
Well, nothing suspicious about that, so the problem must be me. That's it! I'm dreaming!
Yes, you are dreaming. Please jump off a building. When you hit the floor, you'll wake up.
Jesus Christ. I know he's a bit of a jerk, but did he really have to go that far?
Does the concept of a riff just not exist to you? Not to mention that, in text, you said that if Enter's going to be disrespectful towards a cartoon, then that somehow gives you the right to be disrespectful to him. Well, can we apply the reverse? If you can bring up dark humor at the expense of MrEnter, then why can't Enter bring up dark humor at the expense of Kung Fu Dino Posse? Oops!
On the subject of jokes, if that was supposed to be a joke,
Which it obviously was.
I thought it was absolutely horrible. The nasty tone of voice doesn't help here either. It suddenly sounded like it wasn't a joke, but more of a threat. In fact, I think the show's sense of humor is better than Enter's is in this video.
I skipped an earlier portion of this video because I didn't have anything to interject with, but suddenly a snippet of that is way more relevant now.
Trying to apply rules of comedy now? I clearly know that you do it. You even said it in one of your reviews.
There are rules to comedy, and if you fail at reaching them, then your comedy will fail.
No, that is not how comedy works. I hate it when people dictate on what's funny or not. If you do the same mistake that Enter is doing, it'll make you look like a bigot. And Enter certainly sounds like a bigot here.
Wow, what a decent point that bites you in your own dingle-dangle. Granted, you say what's funnier than a joke rather than what's funny and what's not, but it's still the same bigger picture. It's apparently okay for you to decide what kind of Enter's jokes are funny, but Enter isn't allowed to do the same. You can beat the whole subjective humors until the cows come home. But not only does that not make the double standards go away, but it also doesn't change the fact that Dragon's debunking a point with his own subjectivity on dark humor. Eat a weenus!
Competence of these dino dopes gives me a rash.
Yep, this villain is essentially a prima donna, just like every f***ing villain in every overly cliched action show ever.
I can certainly take you seriously with a turn in sentence like that.
Yeah, I like women.
If you want to make a good parody, you need to do it of something that takes itself very seriously. Perhaps too seriously. Not a show about mutated turtles that fight crime and eat pizza.
How joyful. More rules to comedy. Besides, there's one movie that disproves your point, and it's called Scary Movie. And what about all those other TMNT parodies?
Wow, there is so much things here. I don't know where to start. For one, do you at all pay attention to your scripts? Literally 2 interjections ago, you got onto him with your little rule of dark humor is Satan when Enter does it, and then you got onto him for his own rulebook. Flapjacking Christ. Second, Scary Movie does not debunk Enter's point. As he said that for a parody to work, the original material has to be something that takes itself seriously. Scary Movie parodies horror movies, and I don't see any funny memes in any of those, at least unintentionally. way. Sure, you can bring up that it parodies other movies that don't take themselves seriously, but you could also argue that it references aspects of their style in comedy, not the movies themselves. In fact, you want to know what does debunk Enter's philosophy? Is that there are clear moments where TMNT does take itself seriously in almost any of the incarnations of it. You just have to watch anything. And thirdly, what about the other TMNT parodies? I mean, you don't go out of your way to say what other parodies out there even exist, but the bigger issue is that this is about Kung Fu Dino Posse. Nowhere in his point does it even allude to other parodies that exist. Go home!
Does this look infected to you?
Yes, I don't know what you're talking about, but this whole show looks infected with something.
I could have easily made a joke on what the show is actually infected with and compared with Enter's illness, but that just would have been mean.
If it wasn't clear that you weren't trying before, then you sure as Fire Emblem aren't doing it now!
From now on, you'll be known as the Feng Shui Dino Posse.
I hope you run out of milk for your cereal.
I hate you so much right now.
Oh, come on, you're just making this too easy for me.
Step in a puddle with socks on!
You're no fun.
I hope the barber cuts too much of your hair!
What's this? I asked for an all-buckwheat husk pillow. This is Goose Down. Hello? I'm allergic to Goose Down.
And when you're allergic to something, the best idea in the world is to touch it, you f***ing liar.
Allergies aren't always triggered by physical contact with the skin. Considering your possible lack of personal health knowledge, I think I found out why you were sent to the hospital in the first place. Oh, Magnus! You have another patient!
Okay, even as another, lol, Enter has medical problems, what a meme! This one, flat out, doesn't work. Now, I know I got on to him about the whole rules of comedy thing, but this is different because there's actual facts that makes this joke suck. If you have a lack of knowledge on something, then wouldn't your best bet on how to get that knowledge would be to go to school? Or ask a friend? Or Google? Oh, but no, obviously, since this has to do with the medicals, then that means I can continue this meme over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. Hey guys, did I send the message now?
That is...
I gotta...
They actually played the wah-wah trumpet. What the hell kind of show is this?
Whoa, watch out, we got a wah-wah trumpet.
I'm jealous of people that don't know you.
For now, I'm just going to ignore the nitpicks and the bad-mouthing.
I bet you like Minions.
Look, dude, you want to be a hero? Take my advice. Forget everything you learned in nerd school. Don't think, just do.
I'm inspired by your leadership, and I'm taking your advice.
Works fine for me. I know I only came off with a scratch.
I guess you can say he's been caught red-handed with his lack of good memes.
And because they blocked the fire exits, they can't get out. Hey, dumbasses. Did you try the front door? I mean, fire exits exist so you can escape if their path to the front door has been blocked by fire. But there's no fire here. Use the front door! Use a f***ing window!
Oh, good grief. First oil rigs, then personal health knowledge, and now fire doors.
Kill me now! You're a pooper!
You're clearly thinking with the wrong mindset and have, once again, little knowledge on the true way something works. Fire door is used as an alternative exit, altogether, not just for fires.
Hey, you can see the entire point flying over Dragon's head up from good old Kill Land. Enter brought up how because there was no fire, they can use the front door because it's not blocked by fire! Not because, oh, there's no fire, so that means they can't use fire doors. Even if Enter seemingly doesn't know how fire doors work, that does not debunk how they can't just heck off to the main door when they pretty much have every right in the world to do so. And even still, just because you can use them as an alternate exit, why in the holy heckerim do you think they're called fire doors? Because they're designed with fires in mind, and that's what Enter even states in this video. It's like eating toothpaste. Yeah, you can eat it, but that doesn't invalidate how toothpaste was made for keeping your teeth shiny and your breath smelling good in mind.
Also, let's make a little scenario similar to this. Imagine you were a robber in a building with no windows, and the police was coming through the building. Do you take the logical option and take the nearest fire exit, or exit in general, or do you take Enter's option and go through the main entrance and possibly get busted or shot dead?
But who's to say that the police wouldn't have you surrounded, even with guards on the exits of the paths led by fire doors? Not to mention any fingerprint tracking, security cameras... Wait, what does this have to do with anything? Like, how does an actual robbery compare to just a cartoon? You really confuse me.
To be honest, I'm not surprised you're obsessed over a main entrance so much. He does have Enter in his name.
This is the funniest joke you have ever made without relying on a media clip. Congratulations.
Those worms only obey commands from Score.
Do you, mind reading this?
Well, I don't.
Oh, you.
Oh, shut up.
The Fitness Gram Pacer Test is a multi-stage aerobic capacity test that will progressively get more.
And the moral of this episode is that we should listen to the jerk token more often.
Oh, bugger off. This is one of the many major reasons why nobody likes you, Enter. You obsess over morals. I'm not the first person to say it, but I certainly won't be the last. Not every cartoon needs to teach good morals. It can kill the mood on certain genres, and overall kids just don't give a d*** about them.
Okay, where in this review did he obsess over a moral? He just stated what it was. He wasn't being obsessive over anything. This isn't even going into how not everyone dislikes or even knows Enter, especially seeing as how Enter has the subscriber count he does, and you even acknowledge that his fanbase can be rabid, which implies that they do like him, thus destroying the whole nobody likes you point. Sometimes bad morals can be seen as a legit criticism if it can't work in a majority of the ways of life. You could try to come up with a moral in a certain genre of a show. You don't even say what genres shouldn't even have morals in the first place, and you say that kids don't give a Danish roll about them when the point of a moral is to teach lessons, and since kids are far more likely to watch cartoons, it'd be easier to get those lessons since they can learn about life and stuff. There.
And before anyone says he's acting, I'm pretty sure he wasn't. And even if it was horrible, forced, and just unpleasant.
So your only way to counter the possibility of him acting is another possibility that he wasn't because he came off as too harsh, which could imply that he conveyed that well, which could imply that his acting was successful. I mean, you point out the nostalgia critic who, last I checked, his acting is the last thing to be criticized of him. So if you think he can be successful with this notion, then why can't Enter? Oh yeah, he's like the worst or something.
And the icing on this cake is that he also blames his autism for his anger. Is it really big of a deal? All he needs to do is just take some breaks from his work, go out for a walk, and get some fresh air. Simple as that.
I cannot believe I have to criticize an attempt to help someone. Okay, hi, New Boy strikes again. Where does he state that he blames his autism for his anger? It'd be really cool if you showed a screenshot or a clip or something so New Boy could understand. And you do realize that, well, yeah, sometimes a step away could remedy some things. You do realize that for some people it's not as easy as it seems. Saying, oh, just get some fresh air probably wouldn't really remedy things from the get-go, at least for long. And that's under the implication that he hasn't tried this already. I guess my main issue with this statement is that it's all too vague for a problem that has too many variables to decode anyway. I mean, pretty much anything can have the potential to be good, but whatever.
You know, after that, I'm feeling much better now. The only thing I need to worry about...
Okay, this is my last meme for the video, so I have to make this one count. Okay.
Now is his more special fans. In fact, I can feel their presence. Breathing heavily into...
Well, that's totally not condescending in any way. That's like going to a panel at an anime con hosted by voice actors for English dubs, and during the Q&A, a guy goes up to the mic and goes, "Now, I know English dubs are usually bad, but you guys are alright." And then the entire audience boos at you, and then you state that. It's like, wow, you're the life of the party, aren't you? And on that note, I'm gonna end it here. Look, I know it's your first commentary, so lack of experience making commentaries prior could be a valid excuse as to why this video turned out the way it did, as well as the possibility of you improving from this, but a bad video is still a bad video, regardless of the how or why it exists. I've covered someone else's first commentary about a half a year ago, and don't get me wrong, it was bad, but not on the level of this. It's sad to see that, minus your behavior, the best comparison I can come up with from someone's first expression is the likes of K commentates. You either missed the point, made up a point, or had no point. But if I can give you one thing, you didn't kill my eyes with your visuals. But on the other hand, I can at least give K and the previously mentioned Shadow XX is that they didn't go out of their way to vehemently assault their targets. Look, I don't care about Enter, nor the content he makes, nor the controversies that surround him or his actions, but no matter what, there is no excuse to stoop to any possible low to make your targets feel like crap, regardless of how they might have treated others in the past. Even for a first commentary, that should be basic knowledge. Never, ever, 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 ever be cruel to your targets because they can be disrespectful to a freaking cartoon, so why can't I? I said it before and I'll say it again. It implies that you can be just as bad, if not more, than the person you're covering, which creates a massive double standard. You want my advice? Oh, I'm gonna give you advice like no other man or woman has ever advised before. 1. Don't rely on media clips to tell your jokes. Your videos will have so much flow if you're the one telling them, so that the video won't come to a screeching halt and then back into the fray. Oh, and outright referring to your clips to make points like you did with the VeggieTales clip is, for lack of a better word, cringy. 2, check your script over and over and over and over and over again. That way you'll be better to notice the amount of times your own script fricks you. And 3, don't take every single opportunity to bring up MrEnter's mental health or how he's like the worst person on the planet. I think we got the idea the first time around that you don't like MrEnter, and you're not going to get away with the possibility of it being a joke. You yourself brought up that a lot of Enter's jokes aren't jokes because of the tone and delivery, so I have as much of a right to use that against you, considering your tone and delivery. Just because you have as much of a right to be disrespectful at someone just because they were disrespectful at something else, that doesn't make it right! It's more hypocritical than anything, and if it was meant to be more joking, then you ran it into the ground way more than you needed it to. Go by all of these advices and we'll be solid, and we won't have to see another video that makes it look like you're white knighting a cartoon ever again. Yes, I did it! Woo!
Well, you actually pulled through.
What, decided not to keep the voice changer?
You know who actually gives a shit anymore? Here. You're back to normal now.
Nice!
Well, I guess I'm not gonna need you anymore, Mr. Cuddles. Oh well. And while we're at it, I might as well cancel the production of any more of these fucking things.
You had more?
I'd rather we not mention this again in the future.
Agreed. So, I'm assuming your position as God is going to be somehow easier now that I'm done here?
Oh, no, people are still gonna kill themselves left and right and construct their own stories because, I don't know, Killland's cool, I guess. I just needed something to entertain me because I guess every commentator needs Killland in their videos. If we were doing this, we're actually doing something with it, is all I'm saying.
You know what? I'm fine with this. Despite the position you put me in, I think I'll benefit from not swearing that often.
Cool, I don't care. I thought I told you to stop dragging me into your dumb shit.
You know it's gonna keep on coming.
You know what? You're grounded. No death for a week.
You know, I'm surprised you haven't kicked me out early.
Shut up.
Alright, I'm hungry and Chipotle is out. But Chick-fil-A, on the other hand, is in. So let's go ahead and get some food. No! What? It's Sunday? That's a load of shipping and handling. Free with Amazon Prime. Subscribe for plenty of more interesting features such as discounts and such. Forget this, I'm going home. Ah, well. You know, as fortunate as that was, it's like they always said. You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him fuck my dick off!